Alrighty, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Serving Nerve, where we talk about whatever we want, and today we're going to be going and probably getting canceled by the end of the video, but it's worth it because we do need to talk about it. So I think everybody on YouTube right now is hearing about the whole situation with Kris from the Mr. Beast channel, and I just have to point out, I think people are kind of like skirting around something that's kind of important. Something that's super important, actually, based on the associations this individual has with Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is going to have to respond to this. He's totally 100% going to have to respond to this. I know that Kris put out a tweet saying that they were going to be disassociating from the Mr. Beast, brand and all that. But that's not really enough, in my opinion. Does anybody else think this? And you know what? Call me out if you find that such is ridiculous. But personally, I think that if you have such a high level of association with your friend, your childhood best friend, and also, somebody you work with, and then you're outed as a predator, I think that person that you had these ties with will indicatively have to make a response, at least on a professional level, just to make things clear given the circumstances. And I'm not sure if anybody, is thinking the same thing and just doesn't want to say it because they're worried they're going to get canceled, because I know we all know Mr. Beast, because I know everybody perceives Mr. Beast as, a very charitable sort of person who's done a lot of good things for people, and he has. But the reality is he is going to have to make some kind of response to this. He's going to have to say something eventually. And the longer we wait, the worse it's going to get. Particularly for his brand, if not anything else. I have to say, I'm not trying to proclaim guilt by association. He could very well be working with his team for the time being and, trying to figure out the most appropriate way of doing this. But I feel like given what we've been all seeing on Twitter and with, YouTubers like Cheeto, Sensitive Society, Pegasus, all these people that are really talking about the situation, who have these very large platforms and are able to converse about this matter, and are also not worried about getting canceled because of the obviousness of the situation, in spite of Kris being trans. I don't think anybody's really worried about them being trans. I think the bigger situation here is the things that have occurred with this individual and with minors. And with the illegal artwork that's been posted on bedroom walls and whatnot. And I know this is going to be talked about a lot in general, and I don't really have a platform to really, break any, breaking news to you or whatever, anything like that. So obviously it'll come off as a total clout chase, but I don't really think that Mr. Beast can get away with not talking about this at some point. Even if it's just on a professional level, some kind of note will have to be made of this. And I find it very odd, and I know that I'm insinuating things, I'm not trying to, but I have to say I find it really odd that your best friend and business partner is a total creep and you don't know it. He probably had some idea. With the art hanging on the wall, he probably had some idea. So I get we all, put Mr. Beast up on a pedestal because of all the great things he's done, but he's gonna have to talk about this. Reality-wise, this is a situation. This is a nuclear situation. This is mad bad. We're talking about, allegedly texting, 13-year-old boys. Weird, creepy shit, dudes. It's it doesn't even matter, if it's Mr. Beast or not. He's gonna have to make some sort of response based on these associations. And he's probably going to. I'm going to estimate that he will. He'll have to. Otherwise, he's gonna have a flood of constant comments on his newest video, which he might have to scrap if his friend Kris is in the video. And it's kind of screwed up because, I was thinking to myself, months and months and months ago, I was thinking to myself, I'm Mr. Beast has grown quite a lot and he's done a lot of good things for society. What is the only thing that could really destroy him? And it's a bad PR situation like this. Somebody he's associated with getting in trouble for something like this. So this is going to keep getting worse and worse and worse for him if he doesn't make a response. And I get everybody's kind of skirting around the fact that it's Mr. Beast and they don't want to really say that Mr. Beast has to make a response, and they're like, oh, I hope Mr. Beast isn't involved, and oh, I hope this, and I hope that. But I'm kind of serious when I say this. He's going to have to make a response because, it is guilt by association. Right now, he's operating on guilt by association, and he's, yellow flagged, basically. So this is kind of serious. I don't believe into playing into, guilt by association, but right now, for his brand, his brand is going to be suffering until he talks about this, until he says something. As professional as he wants to make it, he's going to have to say something. His brand is definitely going to suffer as a result of this if he doesn't respond, and people are going to be spamming questions in his comments section in his latest videos just so that, people can, say things to him. As a result of this, if he doesn't make a response, his brand is going to be suffering, and he's going to look more and more maybe guilty as a result of this. And I'm not trying to say he's a bad person or anything like that, because he's done a lot of good things, but we do need to look at this concretely. And with this kind of situation, you do have to make a professional response as this big of a brand. You're gonna have to say something if your best friend from childhood and your business partner is outed as a complete and utter creep online. You do have to make a comment. And I know that Kris is trans, and it has something to do with the larger YouTubers really not saying that much, and people kind of being very walking on eggshells around the matter. But this is not a trans situation. I get that Kris is trans, but this is not some kind of argument to demonize trans people. This is an argument because Kris has actually done something that is morally reprehensible. This is a series of situations and circumstances that one individual has played into, and I get that very few people are going to be willing to talk about this openly because Kris is trans, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Kris is a man or a woman or trans or cis or whatever. It really doesn't matter. The DMs are what matter. The situation is what matters. The predatory behavior is what matters. This is the kind of situation that's going to result in mass damage to the Mr. Beast brand, to people's trust in Mr. Beast. The entire situation is just going to get worse from here on out. And it's really not to belittle anybody or belittle Mr. Beast or kind of make him automatically guilty of something, because that's not the point of this. I'm just pointing out he's definitely going to have to make a response. Personally, I think that this is something that people just keep skirting around when it comes to this situation. Mr. Beast does need to respond, because this is going to destroy part of his brand. It's going to take away a significant sum of people's trust in him, and it's going to look like he is defending somebody based on their inappropriate behavior online. So that's something I need to say. I know that we're going to be having a lot of people go off about this. I know a lot of people are also going to talk about this ad nauseum. And I get that other people are going to be saying that anybody who comments on this is transphobic, or that the trans community is going to suffer as a result of this. But that's not something I'd like to perpetuate. The thing I want to perpetuate here is that Mr. Beast, just on the basis of his brand, is going to have to make a response to this. Otherwise, his brand is definitely going to suffer. I know that it's a very walking on eggshells kind of situation, and obviously it's not good, and everything to this is really quite nuclear at the moment, but it does need to be talked about because it's going to start getting worse and worse and worse. So eventually a response will need to be made. But anyways, that's the video. Tell me what you think in the comments below, my people, and yeah, I'd like to say it's been lovely, but seeing this whole situation unfold has been quite a unfortunate series of circumstances. But yeah, tell me what you guys think about this whole situation, and see you later.